Hi, I'm Rich Wigan with rwcoaching.net. And who haven't heard you can't have it all? I heard that many times. Like, listen, if your life in one spot is good and the other side is not so good, that's life. You can't have it all. I heard this plenty times, and that create what I call your BS, your belief system, which is BS too, but it's your belief system, okay? And we are meant to think that having it all is material. It's like, oh, I want to have the best house, the best car, and all this. But having it all, first of all, you can have it all. Yes, you can. Like, having it all is, for me, is, and what I explain to my clients and athletes and everybody, it's a matter of inner peace. It's a matter of you founding your feel good way of life. It's that point that you are connected mind, body, and soul, and nothing that it throws out at you can be it will damage you, because truth is life is full of lessons, and if you don't learn it now, it's gonna show up later in a different way, and it might show up later even on a harder way. Okay, so it's better for you to learn the lesson now, and in this way you can keep it going instead of like fighting and not learning the lesson. And you can only get to this point when you are fully in inner peace, like when you are in peace with yourself. And when I say in peace with yourself, it's not like a magical thing. Is when you're in peace with yourself, it's like when you feel that you're in the right place at the right moment at the right time. When you're in that position, you can have it all. You can manage things. You can see life how life is, as full of lessons, and you learn from it. And you learn from in a positive way. You can always choose to learn and focus on a negative part of it. It's just gonna make things harder. Then you might not even learn the lessons the way you should be, and you're gonna keep showing up and showing up. But the truth is, there's always a positive side of things. There's always. Even for example, I hear a lot of people like, oh, I cheated and I feel like crap now. I went out and I ate really bad foods and I ate a bunch of sugar and stuff like that. But even that, there is a positive side for it. That's just an example. You when you do this, you realize like, oh my God, that food that I used to eat and I thought it was good for me, it made me feel like crap. So there's a big lesson in there. Like when you learn it, they're like, okay, like those foods are good for me, those foods are not so good for me. There's a lesson in there. So everything, like life is full of lessons, and you can always choose to learn on the positive way or the negative way. But on the positive way, you need to be in inner peace, and you need to be in balance on your mind, body, and soul. I did a few mistakes before where I was too focused on my body and not so focused on my spirituality. Sometimes I was too focused on my mind and not too focused on my body, for example. So when you balance all that, when you find your inner peace and you feel in that spot where you are like in the right place at the right moment, that it's unbelievably good, and it's very, very possible, and it's a lot easier than it thinks. And it makes you aware of when the crisis come, but you won't see as crisis, you will see as opportunities, because the truth is, we learn being uncomfortable. We learn in, if everything is perfectly fine or everything it's like okay, you're not gonna learn anything. But if it's something's making you uncomfortable, it's a lesson, and you will learn, you will grow with that. I used to say that like, oh, we grow with pain, and a lot of that is kind of true, but it's your it's your responsibility to see that as suffering or to see as a lesson. um, when people came to me before, and they were saying this and that, and like for example, one day uh, Jehovah Witness knocked on my door, and she came talking about suffering and all that, and I was like, listen, slow down, okay? Uh, is I don't see as suffering to begin with, and then she started to talk about diseases and everything, and then I said, like, listen, my son have a really rare disease. However, I don't see a suffering. He's not suffering. He smiles like 24/7. So suffering is an option. But because I was able to start to get into my inner peace, I was able to deal with her and say, like, listen, don't spread the fear, spread love instead of, like, so you can always see uh, um, the different aspect. Like my son, for example, he gave me an opportunity to grow spiritually way more than I ever had in my life. And he's just a huge blessing in my life, where some people would think that it's something hard, but it's not. It's a huge blessing, and I'm learning with him like so much daily. And this is just one of the examples. Um, when I was racing full-time triathlons, every Ironman race that I did, I learned something. I learned something about me. I learned something about my life. I learned something about life, about goals, and all that. So every little thing that comes to you, it's lessons. And when you are fully at peace, when you are comfortable where you are, then those lessons, it's those things are not going to be seen as crisis, they're going to be seen as lessons. So it's very important to learn the lessons, and it's very important to be in inner peace. So I created like a spreadsheet that you can download it for free, just in the link below. And in this way you can put some key things that I have for the mind, something keys that I have for the body, and some key things that I have for the soul. You can fill it up from 0 to 100. Doesn't matter. The chart's gonna calculate in 100% anyways. But you can pick from 0 to 10 or 0 to 100. I prefer 0 to 100. Then you put the percentage of the things that you are in there, and in this way you can see if if your life is truly balanced. But it's very important to be true to it. You need to be true to yourself in order to see the real results. I won't see it, so it's no judgment on that, but it's just for you so you can see, because everything is energy, and energy flows where attention goes. So if you're putting too much attention into let's say your body or your work, and you lacking on your family and or your health, for example, in this way you can see like, oh my god, I'm putting so much attention into this part of my life instead of the other part of your life. And inside of the mind, body, and soul, there is a few subjects which is going to fill it up, that's going to help you determine like, okay, my mind is one spot, and my body is in the other spot, and my soul is in the other spot. So you can start managing how to balance all that and see where you're putting the attention for. Like I said, it's all energy, and if you're putting too much energy in one side and not in the other side, you're going to create some imbalance, and it's going to be harder to have inner peace. So check it out. It's very simple, and I put it everything in a positive way, because I don't want you thinking of, okay, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, or I focusing too much on criticizing myself instead of. So the question is going to be, what you're going to answer is like, okay, are you having a positive approach for your life? Are you hitting your goals, and little things like that, but all in a positive way. So just look at it. It might help you, and you can see if you are really in inner peace. And like I said, life is about lessons. learn it so you don't have to learn it again later, or escalate and come back in a much harder way. Okay? Any questions, just let us know. Thank you. Feel good.